I was always the reliable one, the organizer, the sister who made sure everyone else's life ran smoothly, while mine quietly fell apart in the background. And when my brother's engagement party finally arrived, they realized too late that the one person holding everything together had walked away. Growing up, I learned early that my role in the family was to be invisible until I was needed. My younger brother, Ethan, was the golden child, the athlete, the charmer, the one who could do no wrong in my parents' eyes. I was just there. The quiet daughter who got good grades but never quite sparkled the way Ethan did. I didn't mind at first. I found my own path, became an event coordinator, built a small but successful business planning corporate functions and private parties. I was good at making other people's visions come to life, at solving problems before they even became problems. Maybe that's why my family started treating me less like a daughter and sister and more like their personal assistant. It started small. Mom would ask me to just help out with family dinners. Dad would have me coordinate his office retirement party, since I was already in the business. Ethan would text me last minute to handle things he forgot. I told myself this was what families did. They helped each other. But somewhere along the way, helping turned into being taken for granted. When Ethan got engaged to his girlfriend Amanda last spring, I was genuinely happy for him. Amanda was sweet, if a bit high maintenance, and she clearly adored my brother. The proposal happened at a fancy restaurant, the kind where the servers know which fork you'll need before you do. I saw the photos on Instagram before Ethan even called to tell me. 2 days later, my phone rang. It was Mom. "Sweetheart, we need to talk about the engagement party." I was at my office, reviewing contracts for an upcoming charity gala. "That's exciting. When are you thinking?" "Well, Amanda wants it in 6 weeks. She has this vision for a garden party, very elegant, around 100 guests." "That sounds lovely. I can recommend some good planners if you need." "Oh no, honey. We were hoping you'd do it." I paused, my pen hovering over the contract. "Mom, I'm pretty booked right now, but I can definitely give you some names of people who—" "But you're so good at this. And it's family. Surely you can make time for your brother's engagement party." The guilt was already creeping in, that familiar weight settling on my shoulders. I suppose I could make it work." "Wonderful. Amanda will send you her Pinterest board. She's very specific about what she wants, so just follow that and you'll be fine." "Thank you, sweetie. You're a lifesaver." She hung up before I could say anything else. Amanda's Pinterest board arrived that evening. It wasn't just a few inspiration photos. It was 17 separate boards with hundreds of pins, vintage garden party, romantic tablescapes, signature cocktails, a dessert bar that looked like it belonged at a royal wedding. I took a deep breath and started making notes. This wasn't just a backyard barbecue. This was a full-scale event. Over the next few weeks, I threw myself into planning. I contacted vendors, negotiated prices, designed table arrangements, created a timeline. I did this in between my actual paying jobs, often working until 2 or 3 in the morning. Amanda would text me at all hours. "Can we do peonies instead of roses? I saw this arch design that would be perfect." My friend said we need a photo booth. Each change meant more calls, more adjustments, more late nights. I didn't ask my family for money up front. I figured we'd settle up later, and in the meantime, I had my business credit card. The deposits started adding up. Venue rental, catering deposit, florist, musicians, photographer, rental company for tables and chairs and linens. My business account that I'd carefully built up over years was steadily draining. Every time I saw my family, they'd ask how planning was going, and I'd say, "Fine." Ethan would clap me on the shoulder and say, "You're the best, sis." Mom would smile and say, "I knew we could count on you." No one asked if I needed help. No one offered to take even one small task off my plate. No one seemed to notice the dark circles under my eyes, or the way I'd started losing weight because I was too stressed to eat properly. 4 weeks before the party, I finally worked up the courage to mention money. I was at my parents' house for Sunday dinner. Ethan and Amanda were there too, showing off photos of their venue tours for the actual wedding. "So, about the engagement party expenses," I said, trying to keep my voice casual. "I've been covering the deposits, but we should probably talk about reimbursement. The total is going to be around $8,000. The table went quiet. Dad looked up from his plate. "8,000? Well, yes. For 100 people with the kind of setup Amanda wanted, that's actually pretty reasonable. I got some good deals through my vendor contacts. Amanda's eyes widened. Oh my God, I didn't realize it would be so much. Mom patted her hand. Don't worry about it, dear. We'll figure it out. Then Mom looked at me. Honey, you know we'd help if we could, but things are a bit tight right now. We just put money down on Ethan's wedding venue, and that was more than we expected. I felt something cold settle in my stomach. So, you want me to cover it? Well, you did plan it, Dad said, and it's your business, so you probably got discounts, right? Discounts don't mean free. I still have to pay the vendors. Ethan jumped in. Come on, sis. You're making good money with your business. We know you can afford it. Think of it as your gift to us. I stared at my brother. At the golden boy who'd never had to fight for anything, who'd never been told to figure it out on his own. Your gift? You think planning this entire event wasn't gift enough? I've spent 100 hours on this, Ethan. I've barely slept. I've put off paying clients to make sure your party is perfect. Don't be dramatic, Mom said. We're family. This is what we do for each other. But it wasn't what we did for each other. It was what I did for them. Always. I swallowed the arguments building in my throat and finished my dinner in silence. As I was leaving, Mom hugged me and whispered, I knew you'd understand. You're such a good sister. I drove home and cried in my car for 20 minutes before I could pull myself together enough to go inside. 2 weeks before the party, I had lunch with my best friend Rachel. We'd met in college and stayed close, even though she'd moved to Portland for work. She was in town for a conference and insisted on meeting up. I must have looked worse than I thought, because her first words after hugging me were, Jesus, Emma, when's the last time you slept? I'm fine, I said automatically. You're not fine. What's going on? And somehow, sitting across from her at our favorite cafe, everything came pouring out. The party, the money, the way my family treated me like a combination secretary bank miracle worker. Rachel listened, her expression growing darker. When I finished, she was quiet for a long moment. Emma, she finally said, you know this isn't normal, right? Healthy families don't do this. They're just used to me handling things. No, they're used to using you. There's a difference. She leaned forward. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to set boundaries. You're going to tell them you need help, or you need reimbursement, or you need something. And if they say no, you walk away. I can't just walk away. It's Ethan's engagement party. Why not? They've walked all over you for years. What are you getting out of this arrangement? Love? Respect? Appreciation? I didn't have an answer. That night, I lay awake thinking about Rachel's words, about all the times I'd bent over backward for my family, about the way they'd smile and say thank you but never actually change their behavior, about how I couldn't remember the last time any of them had asked how I was doing, what I needed, whether I was okay. 1 week before the party, I went to my parents' house one last time. I'd rehearsed what I wanted to say a dozen times, but when I got there, they were all in the living room. Mom, Dad, Ethan, Amanda, and Amanda's parents. They were looking at wedding magazines and laughing about something. I stood in the doorway. Hey, can we talk about the party expenses? Mom waved her hand dismissively. Oh, Emma, we'll figure it out later. Come look at these bridesmaid dress options Amanda found. No, Mom, we need to talk about it now. I've put down almost all the deposits. I need reimbursement before the final payments are due. Ethan sighed dramatically. Why are you being so difficult about this? I'm being difficult? I've planned an entire party I didn't even want to plan, and now I'm footing the bill too? Amanda's mother spoke up. Well, dear, you did offer to do it. I didn't offer. I was voluntold. That's not how we remember it, Dad said. I felt something inside me snap. You know what? Fine. I'm done. Done with what? Mom asked. Done with all of this. Done being your unpaid event planner. Done being treated like I only matter when you need something. Emma, you're overreacting, Ethan said. I turned and walked toward the door. Where are you going? Mom called after me. We need to finalize the seating chart. I paused in the doorway, looking back at them. They looked confused, annoyed, like I was the one being unreasonable. Finalize it yourself, I said. I'm sure you'll figure it out. You're family after all. That's what we do for each other. I walked out and got in my car. My hands were shaking so badly I had to sit for 5 minutes before I could drive. Then I went home, opened my laptop, and started making calls. I spent the next 3 days methodically dismantling everything I'd built for that party. Every vendor, every contract, every careful arrangement. The florist was first. "Hi Sarah, it's Emma. I need to cancel the order for the Walker engagement party." "Cancel? But it's this weekend." "I know. I'll forfeit the deposit. I just need it canceled." One by one, I called them all. The caterer, the musicians, the photographer, the rental company. Some were understanding. Some were angry about the last-minute cancellation. I absorbed it all, apologized, promised to never put them in that position again. The venue was the last call. That deposit alone was $2,000. "I need to cancel the booking for Saturday," I told the manager. "You understand we can't refund with less than a week's notice?" "I understand." "Can I ask what happened?" I almost laughed. I stopped setting myself on fire to keep other people warm. There was a pause. "Good for you," she said quietly. "I hope whoever it was realizes what they lost." When it was done, I'd lost about $6,000 in deposits, money I'd worked hard to earn, money I'd saved for my own future. But as I sat there staring at my empty calendar where that party used to be, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Light. I called Rachel. I did it. I canceled everything. Holy shit. Really? Really? What are you going to do now? I thought about it. I'm going to leave town for a few days, go somewhere they can't find me. Where? I don't know yet. Somewhere quiet. I spent that evening packing. Then I turned off my phone, put it in a drawer, and went to bed early for the first time in months. The next morning, I loaded my car and started driving. I had no destination in mind. I just drove. I ended up in a small town in the mountains, 3 hours from home. The kind of place where everyone waves at everyone, where the main street has a hardware store and a diner and not much else. I booked a room at a bed and breakfast run by a woman named Martha, who looked like everyone's grandmother and made the best blueberry pancakes I'd ever tasted. For 3 days, I did nothing. I hiked. I read books I'd been meaning to read for years. I sat on the porch and watched the sun set behind the mountains. I didn't think about the party. I didn't think about my family. I just breathed. On Saturday morning, the day of the party that wasn't happening, I went for a long hike. The trail wound through pine forests and opened up to breathtaking overlooks. At the summit, I found a flat rock and sat down. My phone was still off, still in that drawer at the bed and breakfast. I wondered what was happening at home. I imagined my family showing up at the venue, finding it empty, calling vendors who would tell them everything was canceled. I should have felt guilty. I didn't. I felt free. Sunday afternoon, I finally turned my phone back on. 63 missed calls, 147 text messages. I scrolled through them, watching the progression from confused to angry to desperate. "Mom, Emma, where are you? The venue says they have no record of our booking." "Ethan, what the hell did you do? Call me now." "Amanda, this is so unprofessional. My parents are humiliated." "Dad, your mother is beside herself. Come home immediately." And then, later, "Mom, how could you do this to us? To your brother?" "Ethan, you're dead to me." "Amanda, you're a selfish, petty person, and I hope you're happy." The later messages tried a different tactic. "Mom, please just tell us what we did wrong. We can talk about this." "Dad, your mother is very upset. This isn't like you." "Ethan, fine. You win. Call me back and we'll figure this out." I read them all. Then I opened my messages and typed a single text to the family group chat. "I'm sorry you feel I let you down, but I've realized that I've been letting myself down for years. I hope you were able to enjoy the party. Or not. Either way, I won't be available to fix things anymore. I need to focus on fixing myself instead." I hit send, then blocked all their numbers. The responses came anyway, through email, through social media, through mutual friends, but I didn't read them. I stayed at that bed and breakfast for a full week. Martha, the owner, never asked what I was running from. She just made sure I had good food and strong coffee and left me alone when I needed it. On the last morning, she sat with me on the porch. "You look different than when you arrived," she said. Different how? Lighter, like you put down something heavy. I did, I said. I put down everyone else's expectations. She nodded. That's always the heaviest thing to carry. I drove home slowly, taking back roads and stopping whenever something looked interesting. A roadside farm stand, a small museum about local history, a cafe with homemade pie. When I finally pulled into my driveway, it was late evening. My house looked exactly the same, but I felt completely different. There was a note taped to my door, my mother's handwriting. Emma, please call me. We need to talk. Love, Mom. I crumpled it up and threw it away. Over the next few weeks, the attempts at contact continued, but they grew less frequent. I changed my email. I changed my phone number. I told mutual friends I wasn't interested in mediating or explaining myself. Rachel visited after I'd been home for a month. How do you feel? She asked. Honestly, I feel guilty sometimes, like maybe I overreacted. Did you though? I thought about it. About the years of being taken for granted, about the $8,000 I'd lost because I'd finally chosen myself, about how none of them had ever, not once, asked if I was okay. No, I said, I don't think I did. Good, because you didn't. You set a boundary, a hard one, sure, but they left you no choice. 3 months later, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. Against my better judgment, I answered. It was Ethan. Don't hang up, he said immediately. I didn't say anything. I wanted to apologize for everything, for how we treated you, for taking you for granted. Why now? I asked. Because Amanda left me. Of course. He was calling because his life fell apart, not because he'd actually grown as a person. I'm sorry to hear that, I said flatly. She said I was selfish, that I expected her to do everything while I just existed. And I realized she was right. And then I realized that's what we did to you, what I did to you. Okay, I'm sorry, Emma. Really. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I needed you to know that I finally understand. You weren't being dramatic. You weren't overreacting. We were terrible to you. I was quiet for a long moment. Thank you for saying that, I finally said, but I need you to understand something. I'm not coming back, not to how things were. Maybe eventually we can have some kind of relationship, but it won't be the one where I fix everything for you and get nothing in return. I understand, he said. I miss my sister. Your sister is still here, I said, but she's a different person now. She's someone who knows her own worth, and that person isn't available to be your unpaid assistant anymore. We talked for a few more minutes. It wasn't healing. It wasn't cathartic, but it was honest. When I hung up, I sat in my quiet living room and realized something. I didn't need their apology to feel okay. I didn't need their understanding to know I'd made the right choice. Sometimes the only way to fix what's broken is to stop trying to fix it. Sometimes you have to let things fall apart to see what was holding you together in the first place. And sometimes the strongest thing you can do is walk away. I poured myself a glass of wine and opened my laptop. I had a business to rebuild, a life to live on my own terms. For the first time in my adult life, I was excited about what came next. Not because my family finally understood what they'd lost, but because I'd finally found what I'd been missing all along. Myself.